Oh, I got Jimmy Stewart. George Slaughter had written a bit where I was supposed to walk up to Jimmy Stewart and say, "Hey, Mr. Stewart, how's your wife, Gloria?" And he was supposed to say, "Oh, she's fine." And I was supposed to say something to the effect of, "Oh, did she take the rabbit test?" And he was supposed to say, "Oh, the rabbit died." What the joke was referring to was the movie Harvey, where Jimmy Stewart plays a man who sees an invisible rabbit called a puka, which, by the way, is the name of one of my doggies. A puka is an imaginary spirit that plays pranks on human beings. In this movie, it was called Harvey. And I said to George Slaughter, "George, I promise you Jimmy Stewart will not kill the rabbit Harvey." He was whimsical. I know this about him. And then George said, "Well, then I guess you won't do a bit with him." And I said, "Oh, please. I love Jimmy Stewart, please." So Jimmy Stewart comes in, and of course, he says no, he is not going to kill Harvey the rabbit. So I'm standing right next to Jimmy Stewart's dressing room, and I had gone in before Jimmy Stewart got on the set, and I had a postcard of me, a mime postcard of me, and I had a box of white chocolate, and I wrote on this note, a little note that said, "A box of white chocolate for Mr. and Mrs. Stewart and that darn rabbit Harvey." Toad. So Jimmy Stewart comes out of his dressing room, and of course I'm standing there, and he says, "Could anyone tell me, who is Toad?" "I'm Toad. I'm Toad." He goes, "Toad, you know, I just want to tell you that candy is Harvey's favorite kind of candy." He could not get rid of me. If I could have gone into the men's room with Jimmy Stewart, I would have. Finally, he just said, well, Toad, why don't you just lead me around? You know, because everywhere he went, I was right there, you know, right next to him, going, "Hey, okay," you know. He was wonderful. Just the people were so phenomenal. Frank Sinatra, one of the stories I will tell you, Frank Sinatra, is I was doing a bit with Sinatra, and I went, "Oh, you know, there's something on your tie." He looked down, and I went, "Beep," and his bodyguard came running right into the bit and said, "You don't tweak Sinatra's nose." And me and Frank Sinatra started laughing, and I said, "Well, I just did." And Frank Sinatra invited me to come to Palm Springs for New Year's Eve with him and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and all those people, and I did not go. I was engaged to be married at the time, and my fiance said, "If you go, we won't get married." And that's okay. I was a little nervous. I didn't want to go there. I was nervous about all those great people in one room.